Do you have any idea why a mosque would give a woman formula for her baby when Christian churches said no? I'll explain to you now. The mosque, the Muslim people within the mosque, follow two orders of scripture. And in that, Muhammad says, "Thy neighbor shall not go hungry while I go to bed with a full stomach." That's number one reason. That's a key element, because when the mosque was asked, "Can I please have some food for my baby?" they could have easily thought it was a scam, but chose to have faith in the individual and gave the formula to the woman. The Christian churches were asked the very same question and were assuming that that person was scamming, and they rejected. The second reason, which is going to upset a lot of you, is that it appears to me that the Muslims, as well as the Quran and Hassad, actually seems to operate closer to what Jesus would do than what Christians would do, which makes sense considering Jesus was born in the Middle East. So the belief that you're going to help your fellow man, regardless of whether or not they're lying or not, because you're just doing the right thing because it's the right thing, seems to set pretty hard in this. Why was it that a dozen Christian churches said no to giving a woman formula for a baby, but a mosque, the Muslims, who so many people have vilified and demonized, were given the chance and they stood and gave the woman the food that she needed? Perhaps maybe we don't understand Muslims as best as we could, and perhaps the Christians are getting more of a benefit of the doubt than they deserve. So a mosque provided baby formula to a Christian mother and her child. Yet we have a Christian president in the White House who's refusing to provide food to 42 million Americans. Who's the enemy? Why are we looking at Muslims as the enemy when it's Christians that are standing around doing nothing to help the American people in need? I'm just trying to understand why we're vilifying someone and trying to treat Muslims like the enemy when it seems that our supposed enemy is actually doing more for the people around them than the people that are supposedly our friends are doing at all. 20 churches said no to that Christian mother. One mosque said yes. When you sit here and look at what Christian values are supposed to be and see that it's the Muslims that are actually following more along the lines of Christ than Christians are, it makes me wonder exactly who are our enemies and why are we labeling a group of people who are actually trying to help and yet somehow allowing the people who are doing nothing for us to be considered our friends. What I know is that the people that came up from Mexico to help during the Texas floods were looked at as enemies, but they came and helped. Muslims came to the aid of that Christian woman when her child needed formula the most. We should all be looking at this and wondering who really is our enemy and who is our friend. And perhaps maybe we should stop looking at each other and look at the people above us that are causing all of the harm in the first place. What do you guys think? Please leave a comment.